If 4 people red light against you, they don't give you a smaller trophy with an asterisk, and you get the same amount of points. This win would have been unbelievably gratifying just because of what my career trajectory looked like. But you're right, Alan. When we looked Saturday night at that ladder, I'm thinking, you got to be kidding me. 15 funny cars show up, and on our side of the ladder, we've got 5 of the heaviest hitters out there right now. And if you looked at the potential matchups, we knew Hagan or Tasca was going to lose first round. They had to race each other. And we knew if things continued, we'd face Tasca or Austin Prock in the semis. So there's the opportunities that you really need to take advantage of to run for the championship. We'd had 2 other opportunities this year, and Austin Prock stopped us in both of those. Well, I should say Austin and Jimmy Prock and Thomas Prock and the rest of that AAA Cornwell car. They've been unbelievable. They've been the class of the field, and they had a hiccup against us, and there's no reason to think they're going to do that again, but you have to be able to capitalize on that. And I think having a great running hot rod like ours makes the other cars push, and sometimes it might make somebody make a mistake that they might not have made if they were racing someone else.
Jack, you said some things in the media center that really triggered me, sparked my interest into you as the person. You're very humble when you speak for so many years, driving for Don Schumacher and all those years in your championship. But this experience that you've gone through, it had to be really tough because you're a qualified driver. You lost your ride because of just the shuffling around of things and COVID and whatever. And then, then you're working on elevators, right? The phone finally rings 4 years later. And you said, everybody's got an ego. And I wonder in those times where you're going to work every day and you were not making those imaginary funny car runs in your heads that you told us about, that you were thinking maybe this thing is over and why get ready for something that I'm not doing anymore? Were you I don't know, aggravated? Were you a little, I don't want to use the word bitter. Bitter is wrong. That's not the word, but I want to show these guys. I can't wait till I get the opportunity to show somebody what's up, because you're back in the winner's circle now. I kind of want to just take me on that journey a little bit. What it was like being a champion, going back to work, getting the call, winning the race. There has to be a part of you that is I told you.
Yeah, that maybe sometimes good does win in the long run. The good guys can triumph. Yeah, I don't want to take life advice from somebody who's won 15 lottos and never had a rough day in their life. I want to take life advice from somebody who is struggling right now and tells everybody, I'm going to keep doing things the right way. I'm going to keep trying to better myself and be good to others. And then I want to talk to that person 2 years later when I see that their actions have paid off. So I think I sure hope that didn't come across as conceited. But, going through a divorce, there's a lot of bitterness and resentment and ugliness that comes out in otherwise normal people. And I'm still going through that right now. And I have tried to be a good person, an adult through all of this. And some days it's easier than others, but I had to go back to work. I think the average person might think that we make $500,000 a year driving fuel cars and you can just lay off for a couple of years and go hang out at the beach and look for sponsors. It's just not the case. I always mowed my own lawn. I live pretty close to the bone. I've always lived beneath my means, and now more so than ever, going through what I'm going through. So there was a time for the first couple of years that I thought, yeah, I think there's a good chance the phone could ring. And bitter is not a terrible word when you use it. When I go to the races at Pomona, I'm still a fan and I still have a lot of friends there, but I also felt a little bit like an outsider. It's very difficult to not feel that way when all your friends are still playing together and the playground gate's locked and you can't get in right then. And, man, I hope that I've always presented myself in an adult-like way on this, but I struggle with that sometimes, just like everybody else does. And I think maybe that's a good message for everybody else, that you look at these folks on TV that are doing their dream, driving a nitro car, getting a paycheck to do it. We're normal people too. You know, there's a lot of struggles we go through. And here I am, I'm fixing elevators today because I don't know what's going to happen after the end of this year. I'm just so incredibly lucky to get to fill in for John for 8 races, whether it's 8 races or it goes longer than that. Man, I'm smiling. And I was asked in the press deal that you're referring to about, will this give me a better resume for next year for another fuel team? Well, it sure as hell ain't going to hurt. I'll tell you that.